Good morning and welcome to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
I am.
We paused Marty there because I didn't actually hit it on the one. I waited a second. And Marty had that look like, well, are you going to talk or are you not?
Maybe we got to just do that one time. When we get down to one, we'll just...
Yeah, we'll do that.
How are you? We have a tropical depression in the Gulf headed for the Texas coast, it looks like. But make no mistake, we will feel the rain effects from this thing. It may hit tropical storm strength in the next couple of days. And if so, it will be Hannah.
But don't we have Gonzago or Gonzalo?
Gonzalo is still way out there. It'll be over a week before we find out what kind of impact that's going to have.
Now, Hannah sounds like a good name for a storm.
Mm-hmm. Hannah Storm. Hey.
Yeah, I didn't intend to go there, but yeah.
Isn't that sports babe that really doesn't know anything about sports?
No, she's the one who actually does know something about
I remember.
sports.
They made her a news babe on CBS, and she didn't really know anything about the news. But golly, those legs.
Hannah Storm. Indeed.
But no, it doesn't look like Hannah is going to be that big of a deal. A rainmaker mostly. But Gonzalo does worry me because it's already a tropical storm, and it's way out, like, it hasn't even made it to Cuba yet. Or Cuba.
Getting his passport
people
stamp.
are say Cuba.
Doesn't it have to make the mandatory hit on Haiti and lay waste and destruction? Everything that happens on Earth.
If you're in the neighborhood, you might as well destroy Haiti.
Well, no. I mean, it could be in the it could be in the Arctic Circle, and Haiti is going to have damage.
Poor old Haiti. I mean, they just get it from every natural disaster. It's just terrible.
The United Airlines flight that crashed in Boulder 15 years ago harmed Haiti.
Yeah.
It's like...
Wreckage fell on Haiti. Hundreds killed. No, he's kidding.
Somebody's got it in for Haiti.
But Gonzalo, it will probably be at least this time next week before we have a good idea of what Gonzalo's going to mean for the central Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I know the meteorologists, and I love the term too. They like to say, going to be a fish storm. Maybe not. Mm-hmm. And Hannah is going to go right into that sweet spot of Texas that has become the catch basin for heavy rain over the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be on the wet side of it. So Lake Charles, Acadiana, the coastal parishes, you're going to get a lot of rain. Maybe not so much for Baton Rouge.
Best guess on Hannah says somewhere south of Houston, Texas, but between there and the Mexican border. But the rain effects are going to be widespread.
I did not understand. I don't know what happened at your home, but this morning it was clear. It was calm. Took the dogs out, got back inside, decided to load the dishwasher. And I heard this god-awful noise, and I said, well, that can't possibly be rain, can it?
Did you have a downpour this morning?
Oh, it stormed.
Really?
For about 20 minutes, and then bright sunshine.
We didn't get any such thing in my part of East Baton Rouge Parish. So isn't that weird? That's what you call local storms, local thunderstorms.
Local
And that's
storms.
what we're going to, by the way, be expecting with the effects of this tropical depression. Is that thunderstorms will crop up, but they should be widespread and local. They're expecting a couple of inches of rain, say, for the next 24 hours here in East Baton Rouge, the capital area. But if you get some of these local thunder showers, you could get double that just in your area, wherever that may be.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to have the 3J's drinking game. Jesse, Jay, and Josh. And we take a shot where they're all standing, so we can put all three on the screen at once, and have their predictions. And every time one of them says something different during their prediction, you take a drink. So it'd be the 3Js. It'd be Jesse, Jay, and Josh.
Jesse, Jay, and Josh, the dueling weathermen.
And you take a drink every time one of them diverts from what the other two are saying. Now, there are two reasons for this. Number one, it'd be kind of fun. And number two, you're going to be so blasted that when they're universally wrong, it won't matter to you.
Well, we've had meteorologists confess to us that they apply the best science that they can to make a scientific wild-ass guess.
Oh, yeah.
And that's basically, and sometimes they, despite their best, their best predictions based on science, they get it wrong.
You
sometimes.
can't look this up in a book somewhere.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about weather. It's completely unpredictable. Completely.
Remember the Mother Nature commercials when we were kids?
What was that? That was a margarine.
Yeah, it was a margarine that
tasted so
like
much
butter.
like butter. Yeah.
And Mother Nature used to get angry, saying it's not nice
to fool Mother Nature.
To fool Mother Nature, yeah. But how would we? Let's see if we can get a graphic up here behind us. The 3 J's when they're doing the stand up where you get the long shot, you got them almost all the way to the knees.
Jay, Jesse, and Josh.
Yeah, the 3 J's drinking game, or how to have fun with unpredictable weather.
What I love about Jay Grimes is, the weather's serious when Jay comes on and he's got his jacket off and his sleeves rolled up.
Or his glasses on, too.
It's like, oh, no, what is it? That's like seeing Jim Cantori on your street with a camera. It's like, oh, my God.
Happen.
All right, our first commercial break.
How is a divorce and a tornado the same thing in Denham Springs?
Exactly.
Either way, somebody loses a trailer.
We're going to talk some more today. A week ago today, we had 2 candidates running for the mayor-president of East Baton Rouge Parish. Now, if you're not in Baton Rouge, say, why do I care? Well, it has the largest population of any parish in the state, and therefore it is consequential. So we're going to be talking with 2 of them today. C. Denise Marcel joins us in hour 1, and local businessman Jordan Piazza joins us in hour 2. Quick break. Exiles TV is going to be right back.
Taste the feeling.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. For those of you in the greater Baton Rouge area, there are some police issues that are coming to a head. And I would think that we are probably seeing many of the same issues in Lafayette, in New Orleans, in Jefferson Parish, in all the larger areas, and that is you have cops that are under fire, you have cops that are not being supported politically, and you have cops that don't make enough money. The Baton Rouge Union of Police put up some billboards.
I've seen them.
Last week. And it says, warning, enter at your own risk. 46 homicides in 7 months. And then a quote, "I'm worried," attributed to Chief Murphy Paul. And it says, "Baton Rouge Union of Police, support your police," and they disclaim that they paid for the billboard. Now,
A second billboard paid for by the same people says, "Fifth most dangerous city in the United States in terms of violent crime and murders." And again, it says, "Enter at your own risk."
and there were a lot of people that were running around like someone set both ends of their bodies on fire. Most of these were political people. And first of all, let's not even address the fact that the union collects dues from their members and they have their own funding. And should they choose to express their frustration and use actual facts rather than things they're made up, nobody should be in a tizzy about that. That is truly a case of, well, it is what it is.
Truth hurts some people.
Well, the Advocate has come out, and their stand is maybe not what you expect. Dan Fagan, who is one of their editorial committee writers, starts the article this way. The headline is, "In an unsafe city, Baton Rouge's police union points finger at the top." And he says this: "It's a big deal when the president of a police union accuses a mayor of snubbing cops, giving them the cold shoulder and silent treatment. Police are used to poor treatment and being disrespected on the streets. But you would expect more from an elected official." In a letter sent to rank-and-file cops last week, Sergeant Brandon Blust, who is the president of the Baton Rouge Police Union, criticized Mayor President Sharon Broom's treatment of officers. Quoting from the letter, "I have personally worked multiple events that she has attended, but has refused to be a part of conversations with officers. Many times, she has snubbed her nose at officers working the events, ignored personal greetings from officers, including mine, as well as openly criticizing officers prior to investigations being completed." Now, this tension has been escalated. And Dan Fagan says this. This is not the president of the union saying this. If you read further down, the billboards don't reflect well on Broom's leadership. She's up for re-election on November 3rd, and Mayor Broom, a Democrat, defeated Republican candidate Bodie White by fewer than 4 percentage points when elected in 2016.
That was a tight race.
It was. If Broom is perceived as anti-cop while the city she runs becomes more deadly and violent, it will not help her with voters, or will it? There's a real anti-police vibe surfacing with many people after a Minneapolis police officer knelt on the neck of George Floyd, killing him. Protesters and some hard-left politicians have begun to call for defunding of police, and he's talking nationwide. So he goes on and on and on. And the bottom line is that he says, you know what? Maybe we should take a look at those billboards and then take a look at the leadership. And, I mean, if the mayor is truly responsible for the police department, if she chooses who runs the police department, and she also influences the way they do their policing, as is alleged here and by the police union, isn't this something those of us who live in this city should look at?
Yes, it is. By the way, I just want to inject something here. And this is a piece of news that didn't get a lot of national exposure. The official post-mortem on George Floyd, there was nothing in the coroner's report that indicated the knee on his neck was the cause of his death. What caused his death was his extremely high blood pressure, his heart condition, and the fact that, again, like some other people that have died in police custody, his blood toxicology was basically the inventory at CVS.
Yeah.
Okay? But that didn't make a lot of national news because that doesn't fit the narrative that he was murdered by Officer Derek Chauvin. Now, I'm not defending Chauvin. I don't ever want to see a cop's knee on a man's neck ever again. And I'm also completely willing to believe that the knee on the neck contributed.
I think that's exactly what's said. Yeah.
Now, I did notice that Dan Fagan said knee on the neck killing him. What killed him was what was going on inside his body at the time, not necessarily the knee on his neck.
Well, there's contributing factors. You know, it's like, you know, if
I'm splitting hairs, and I apologize for that.
If I hit you with a car in the parking lot because I'm in a hurry to leave and we go out at the same time, and you go backwards and you crack your skull open on the pavement.
The skull crack is what killed me, but you contributed.
Yeah, I made it happen. But that's neither here nor there. The real question
You're right,
is,
I'm splitting hairs.
In Baton Rouge, this is the first time I've seen an editorial by the largest newspaper in the South, or in the state rather, and the only daily in Baton Rouge. This is the first time I've seen an editorial that says, you know what? Maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe we shouldn't just say, oh, these billboards, they're just unhappy because they don't like the new rules and they're not getting their raise. Maybe we should be asking some questions about the attitudes at the top and whether or not that is influencing what is happening with our policing and our crime rate.
Speaking of crime rate, 2 more murdered last night in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Oh, I'm going to get to that in a minute. They were filming a rap video.
Mm-hmm.
How many people dead from gunfire from filming rap videos in the last 2 years? About 8, isn't it?
In this city alone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more than 6. So, and rap video, are videos even still a thing? Are does anybody, music videos still a thing? I mean, I know they had their day in the 80s and 90s, but it's always, we were shooting a rap video. What?
Well,
but yeah, apparently some young men were shooting a rap video, and up came the drive-by gunfire, boom, 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 2 dead last night.
Actually, last summer, Karen and I, on a beautiful summer day, decided we were going to go take a walk, and we walked on the nice levee in downtown Baton Rouge, and we came upon
some people shooting a rap video.
3 young people shooting a rap video. Now, they didn't have any weapons or anything.
No, but you're like, they're shooting a rap video, run!
No, it's like, this is fascinating. Listen to all that terrible grammar.
I've never heard F-bombs used so frequently in my life.
They were doing kind of they were trying to do kind of a Christian rap video.
Okay, good for them.
No, bad for them.
Well, at least it was a Christian
But listen, let me tell you what.
rap video.
If I were the Almighty and I saw a Jesus sticker on the back of a piece of crap car that hasn't been inspected in 5 years, there'd be extra purgatory time for that guy. You're not buying the Almighty's affection that easily. I'm on to you.
Oh, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit more about this police thing. Is it fair to put a city's rising crime rate on the relationship the mayor has with the police?
Is it?
I don't know. Let's discuss it a little bit more when Exiles TV returns.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bugman, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bugman today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Now we talk about the police.
Hey, welcome back. It is Exiles TV. Bill Profito over there, Kevin Gallagher here, and let's pick right up with where we left off. There are, if you're driving through the Capital Region, Baton Rouge, there are a series of billboards that were put up there by the Baton Rouge Police Union. Now, this is not. Someone asked actually the other day, "Well, what's the difference? Who runs a police?" A union is a labor union. It's not a police. It's not. It says Baton Rouge Police, but it's not the police.
Well, it says Baton Rouge Union of Police.
It's a union.
Yeah.
It's a labor union. It's not any kind of a policing body. But it's perfectly within their rights to put these things up. And as far as I could tell, the billboards are factually accurate. They're alarming, and they anger some people because they call to visitors' attention that we do have a very violent city. We've got a lot of gunshot deaths, and it's a very violent city. Is it necessarily fair to put that, to blame that, on the relationship that the mayor has with law enforcement?
Well, let me look at it, and I'm going to be as objective as I possibly can, as someone who is now, like a lot of people, wary of being out and about in Baton Rouge because we have so much violent crime that is unpredictable. Mayor Broome ran primarily on changing the police department. And this was in the aftermath of the Alton Sterling case. I mean, this was her big issue. And she did. Carl Dabadie, whose numbers, now again, at that time, his numbers were better than the numbers are currently.
Yes, crime was lower under his watch.
She wanted to fire Dabadie. She found out that she couldn't. He waited until he was eligible for full retirement benefits. And he said, well, if you don't want me, I don't want to be here. She got to pick her own police chief. And this could happen to anybody. But this year has been a more violent year. We have an uptick in murders. We are ahead of November's numbers of last year, and it's the middle of July. So when you ask the question, is it fair to examine the leadership? I think it is fair to examine, not blame necessarily, but examine. You know, just because, and I know some people are going to be angry, please don't, but if you are, I'm okay with that too. Just because you are an elected official who is a member of a minority group doesn't mean you're immune from having questions asked of you.
Or criticism.
Pointed questions or criticism leveled at you. And people saying, well, should we really be looking at the leadership in light of these stats? What they're saying is, if it was still Bobby Simpson and Carl Dabadie, I'd do it, but not with
Kip. A lot of people long for the days of former Mayor President Kip Holden. And I've heard people say this never would have happened.
But I mean, what is your opinion? My opinion is that Dan Fagan hit it on the head, that we should be asking questions. What do you think?
I think that it's okay to ask questions, but to just this 2020 has been a chaotic year from sea to shining sea.
Yeah.
Everywhere there's chaos. It's kind of sort of got started with George Floyd, but I also think COVID-19 has contributed to the chaos. And so it may be unfair to lay this at the feet of the mayor president of East Baton Rouge Parish when we have a chaotic environment brewing across the nation. There just seems to be, less than a week ago in East Baton Rouge Parish, there was an incident that took place with gunfire. 1 person killed and 8 people wounded by gunshots. Over 100 spent shell casings found in the area as these 2 people, and I saw a piece of video someone was shooting. You would have thought it was the 4th of July. It was like fireworks going off, the frequency of the gunfire. Terrifying. Is that the mayor's fault that people are just so much more willing to use the guns? Is it the mayor's fault that they seem to have fully automatic weapons?
Well, it's certainly not her fault, but I think one of the things that I look at is your grandpa's theory. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Under the previous chief, we had 3 consecutive years of our murder rate declining. And that seems to be the #1 statistic that we worry about in East Baton Rouge Parish. So if it ain't broke, why do you feel like you want to fix it?
I think that in the wake of the Alton Sterling shooting, a lot of people felt like the problem we have here, why these white police officers shot and killed this black man, is because we've got, there's just too much white going on here. And, I think that there
was an argument that was made.
There was an anti-white sentiment going on in East Baton Rouge Parish towards the white police chief and the white officers who, committed this crime. I've often said many times the Alton Sterling incident was a sad, terrible incident where, I'm sorry, the way I look at it, and you can get angry with me if you want, but Mr. Sterling precipitated everything that happened to him that night.
Yeah. Marty, I'm sorry, is this a call for us, Marty? If somebody wants to go?
He's on topic this time.
He's on topic. All right, well, let's you ready to
take it? Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. HB, how are you?
How you doing, sir?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, HB.
Over 4 years ago, when the mayor was first running for the office, I talked to many of the officers that are there. Even though I'm retired, I still stay in touch with a lot of them there.
Certainly.
Their greatest fear was knowing well in advance that if she got elected, the union, her objective would be get rid of Diabity, get rid of the union, and abolish civil service, and then put a chokehold on the people there and dilute the police department to where the population of the police department reflected the population of the city limits of Baton Rouge. Thank you, sir.
All right, HB, appreciate your being with us. And he is right. Mayor Broome ran on replacing the police chief. That is in the record. Now, the replacing civil service, certainly she knows that can't be done. That is in the state constitution.
Yep.
And what has happened is the chief now has more autonomy in promoting to higher ranking positions. And she can't get rid of the union. The only way you get rid of the union the way our laws are written in this state is that the union gets rid of itself. They vote to disband. But I think what HB was mixing in there was the Police Officers' Bill of Rights, which is kind of a gentleman and gentlewoman's agreement. That I did hear some speaking about that they thought, some people thought that police officers had way too many rights when it came to when it came to incidents like this, but that was not dissolved either. So, where does it leave us, though? I mean, I had a dream last night that Alan, who was back in the truck, and I were out doing something that we needed to do for this television program, and we got robbed at gunpoint. I have never had a dream about getting robbed at gunpoint in the city of Baton Rouge in all of my life. I do think we have a serious situation. And I'm kind of proud of Dan Fagan and the Advocate for saying, hey, look, it doesn't hurt to ask these questions. If there's smoke, there's a fire somewhere.
Well, especially in this election year. This is the end of Ms. Broom's first term as mayor, and there are no less than, I'm doing a quick head count here, is it 4 or 5 four challengers that think that she's had enough time, and it's time to replace her. Last time around, I'm trying to remember when she was running, and Kip Holden was not running. The mayor-president, Kip Holden, was not running for another term.
He was tapped out, yeah.
Term limited. Was it 8? We started out with 8.
Oh, yeah.
And we whittled it down. And anytime you start out with that many people, first thing you're doing is you're assuring yourself a runoff. And in this case, you're assuring yourself a December runoff. December runoffs are notoriously low voter turnout elections. Everybody showed up in November to vote for the president. Will they show up a month later to vote for little things like the mayor-president that hasn't been decided yet?
Yeah. Marty, is line 2 ringing? I've got flashing lights over here. Marty is our floor director.
We'd hear it ringing, I think, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we can hear it ringing or not. I'll lift the receiver and
just lift it, dump it, dump it.
There we go.
By the way, if you'd like to talk, lines are open, 225-831-1029. That's 831-1029. Jot that down whenever you see us on. I don't think that there's ever a time, except for maybe during a guest interview, that our lines are not open if you've got a question or a comment. And even then some of our guests say, yeah, sure, I'll take calls.
I thought it was very interesting. Former police chief Pat Englade, who now is the principal person who runs the Capital Area Law Enforcement Foundation, and they try to aid officers by getting them better body armor and things like that. If someone gets injured or, God forbid, killed, they try to help their families and their kids. And he posted something yesterday about this opinion piece that Dan Fagan put out there, and he said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with transparency. And if the truth stings a little bit, it just gives you, and I'm paraphrasing, a better direction of where you need to go to try to repair things. And he said this without any kind of vitriol or taking any kind of sides. And maybe that billboard has served as an open door to where we can examine everything in government that touches our police department, including the innards of the police department, and get a better feel for what is really going on. And I say that without saying, what's really going on? I don't mean it that way. I mean get a more complete, transparent look. I'm not ready to point any fingers at anybody yet. But there may be some that need to be pointed down the road. This is kind of a first step. We got to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hello, baby. Welcome back to Exiles TV. The horn section being provided today by Kevin Gallagher.
Yes, I'm the human beatbox.
Are you?
No. Scrolling through my Facebook feed, I see no less than 5 posts from 5 different people in a row that are about the 2 murders last night. 2 men shot during filming of rap video die from injuries. BRPD investigation. That from Michael Noto. Tina Mancuso. Police, 2 critically injured in shooting. It goes on and on.
You get all these Italians. I wonder if they're feeling guilty.
Leslie Davis. 2 men shot during filming of rap video die from injuries. BRP investigates as double homicide. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And these are just the latest. But
the latest.
As I was arguing when we were talking about it, is this a fault in our leadership, or is it just something that we're seeing amongst the young people of America, we're in a year of chaos. We're seeing increased violence in every major city. Every major city is seeing increased violence. Not only violence by way of demonstration, but also just random acts of violence just cropping up. How many viral videos have you seen of somebody just getting lambasted by 3 or more people? Just angry young people that are, God knows what they're angry about, which issue they're angry about, but they just decide to take it out on a fellow human.
Well, here is some thinking, okay? This is a theory, and it's only a theory. And I am not attaching any pejorative to it. I'm just asking you to think it through. So in the wake of Alton Sterling, and when I mean in the wake, I mean within the next year and a half, there are people that have come to the mayor, to the chief, to all kinds of political people and said, there is a perception that the police are particularly heavy-handed with young black males. Will you see what you can do to alter that perception? There are some people that would say, I take that as a, will you lay off? And maybe it is. But you also have to be down the road a little more experienced and not just new to the gig to say, well, you know what? With what we've got in these communities in this city, we actually need to be a little more heavy-handed. So you've got this dichotomy of influences without anybody giving any direct orders. I mean, think back to Judge Trudy White's commercial. Now, that just wasn't garden variety dumb. That was sending a message. You get in a jam.
You get some love down here in the 19th JDC. Yeah. For those of you, by the way, outside of the East Baton Rouge Parish area, we have a judge who now has moved on to civil court cases, but had been a criminal court judge in the 19th JDC, who came under a lot of fire for being soft on crime.
Well, she did a television commercial for her re-election campaign that had people say, get arrested and end up at the 19th JDC. Trudy will set you free.
Yep, come down here and get some love from Judge Trudy.
Yeah.
And that was controversial, and it eventually led to her, I think, seeing the handwriting on the wall and deciding she didn't retire as a judge, but she moved to civil cases.
She was asked to move to the civil docket.
Yeah, somebody asked her to move over to the civil docket and save a little face. But we have an atmosphere in East Baton Rouge Parish. We have since the aftermath of the Alton Sterling killing in 2016. And let's not forget that only weeks after Alton Sterling died from police gunfire, we had 3 police officers murdered.
That were shot down
by a lunatic who came in from out of town, heavily armed with military weapons, and that had the ability to puncture Kevlar vests. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He shot 6, 3 died. 1 is still in a semi-vegetative state, God bless him, but still hanging on.
And recovering, thank God, after all these years recovering.
But he has limited capacity and capability, and he probably will have for the rest of his days. But yet, this was not looked at by some as great a tragedy as the loss of the one man who resisted arrest until he had to be shot 6 times. It's just odd how we look at things.
Well, and by the way, lest we not give an incorrect impression, he was a felon. He had a firearm in his pocket, which he is not entitled to have. The officers who responded were responding to a call. They were dispatched there.
Brandishing a weapon?
A man brandishing a weapon. He was shot because he was fighting with the officers who were trying to take him into custody, and he reached for the gun. And the officers were cleared by both a federal investigation and a state attorney general state police investigation. Now, there were a lot of people that were upset, and one of the officers was eventually fired for using bad language during all this.
Yeah.
So we have this double standard, I think. And it's an emotional standard, and God love them if they're doing this to try to keep the peace. I remember years and years ago when I was on WJBO, and they were talking about the contract for cable TV at Angola. And somebody called up and said, why are they getting cable TV? And it's like, you don't get it, do you? It keeps them calm. The guards are safer if they're watching TV rather than if they're just sitting there getting angrier and angrier because they're bored to death and they're going to shank somebody.
You know, what is there to do while you're in prison? Go out on the yard, play some basketball, lift some weights. I'm sorry, I'd rather have you sitting on your ass watching television.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, some of this stuff, when we talk about police and the certain areas of high crime that also happen to be high economically deprived and high minority, you have to wonder if some of this having a gentler hand is to keep things more calm. But at the same time, this is now, I've been thinking about it. This is the fourth incident with fatalities from quote unquote shooting a rap video. Apparently, there was a pretty large crowd. This was the 3900 block of Dalton Street near North 38th. And if there was a large crowd in that neighborhood, I would think somebody would have noticed. They didn't call the cops until shots were fired, and they had to. And you got two people dead, 25-year-old DeAndre Mills and 31-year-old Landon Johnson. They were taken to the hospital in critical condition, and they succumbed to their injuries. But if we are truly at war, if we are engaged in a struggle with those who have murderous and violent intent in our city, why don't we just say so? Why don't we put them on notice? If you're running around with a gun in your hand out in the street and you are not entitled to have a gun, you're saying, I'm just doing it to shoot a rap video, we're going to say, no, you're not. We're going to take the gun, and then we're going to say, go ahead and shoot whatever you want with the camera, but you're not going to shoot with a firearm. Why don't we do that?
Good question.
Well, I think a lot of it is these sensitivities, is can you back off a little? And I will bet you if we had a lot of precinct commanders that could speak to us off the record, if we asked them if they have been asked to back off a little on this kind of thing, I'll bet you they would tell us yes. And you know what? That is a whistling past the graveyard strategy.
The first time that I heard the phrase "hug a thug" came from it was an off-the-record remark made to me by someone I know in law enforcement, and he used it euphemistically about the policies, the policy changes underway, that we're all going with "hug a thug" now. Did that work? Did that appeasement or backing off? I'm telling you right now, if we're the fifth most dangerous city in the United States, then perhaps not.
Or maybe not as well as they would have liked.
I just worry that we seem to be in a phase, Bill, where everyone under a certain age is more prone to coarse behavior. And I know I sound like an old fart, it's like, oh, you young kids today, they mean that kind of thing. But we're seeing a lot more coarse behavior and coarse conversation and people willing to, quote unquote, go there at the drop of a hat, whether it be just speaking ugly or getting ugly, and then let that escalate into violence.
Well, and you see little examples of this all the time, and I think they become so common that you don't ever connect the dots. So yesterday, Karen and I are going out to get a printer, and we're on Segan Lane, and we get to that area where you have to leave the second from the right lane for the center lane in order to not be forced to turn into that shopping center. So I signal, I look in my mirrors, and I start to move, and there's this guy behind me in a mini Cadillac SUV, the small one, and he's got Texas plates, and he immediately hits the gas. And I
cut you off?
No, I had enough room, but then he had to sit on my bumper, and if I'd had to stop for a car in front of me, he would have hit me. So then he finally zooms around, and he's got a sign on his car that says he does gardening and planting work, Texas plates, in Baton Rouge, and he's doing this zoom, 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 zoom. And you know what? 23 3/4 hours a day on that stretch of Segan between I-10 and Perkins Road, you will see at least 2 cops. None to be found. And this guy, the look on his face, when he finally came around, he was like, F you.
Rage.
And it's like, you know what? There's a better than even chance that if you do that to somebody else and you get stopped at a light, they're going to pull you out of that car with your Texas plates, and they're going to explain what we call courtesy in Louisiana.
So we do things a little differently in the Bayou State. All right, time for another break, our last one of this hour. We'll take care of some business and be back with Exiles TV.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
We're back. Exiles TV, just a couple of minutes for the top of the hour break as we head into hour 2. So, Bill, do you follow me? I mean, it seems like right now what we've got going on here is we've got people that are willing to get out in the streets, risk the tear gas and whatever is going to happen to them, to protest what? It seems like, what do you got? I feel bad for the black people that are still upset about the treatment of George Floyd.
Oh, yeah, they've lost their movement.
They're gone. Their movement's been completely hijacked. Yeah. Black Lives Matter, the grassroots movement, has been completely hijacked by Black Lives Matter, which is an organized movement with bank accounts, largely white leadership. And the leadership of Black Lives, like, for instance, Susan Rosenberg is one of the prime money-raising figures in the official Black Lives. That name ring a bell with you?
No.
Susan Rosenberg? Susan Rosenberg was a radical in decades past, affiliated with bombings in decades past. And she also worked in the Clinton administration.
So that's what they meant when they said, let's go out with Susan and get bombed.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it. Okay.
But, I mean, I feel bad for the people for... I agree that Black Lives Matter. I get upset when people get angry when they say Black Lives Matter and someone says, well, all lives matter. And then they get upset like that somehow. I'm not trying to trivialize the fact that Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter because all lives matter. Why are we even discussing this?
Well, you know, you get, and this is one of the great weaknesses in America. And
identity politics.
No. It's people who have power, prestige, money, and good intentions who get slapped in the face by these piss ants that have never done anything in their lives and not striking back. Yeah, it's like the origin of star dumps. You know that there was a policy saying, hey, you can't let just anybody in here to trash the bathrooms. But the minute a manager did what she was supposed to do, and somebody came in and complained that she wouldn't let them use the bathroom.
Once the media was involved.
And, Starbucks, they said this is a heinous person. In fact, she is responsible for the Kennedy assassination. And we are now going to open up our restrooms 24 hours a day, whether you spend a penny with us or not.
Do you remember that story? That was in New York City.
It was in New York City.
New York City, two guys that were basically semi-vagrants, and they were not there to buy coffee or enjoy the Wi-Fi. They just wanted to avail themselves of a flushing toilet. And Starbucks said basically the restrooms are for our customers. That's a perfectly reasonable business position.
It certainly is.
A perfectly reasonable business position. It's one that, having spent quite a bit of time in the French Quarter, I'm really familiar with. Don't use our can if you're not going to spend a little money at the register.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, that suddenly became a horrible, horrible thing. And ever since Starbucks took this new policy of, everybody, I've walked into Starbucks, I'm going to say it, O'Neill Lane here in Baton Rouge next to I-12, walked in there and said, just got to use the bathroom. That's it.
I go farther than that. Welcome to Starbucks. Don't bother. I'm just here to drop a deuce.
Yep. No coffee for me, thanks. If I want coffee, I'll go to CC's.
Yeah.
Because they're a Louisiana company, but thanks for the bathroom.
On the other side, before we visit with Jordan Piazza, I've got some thoughts about how possibly some people in our country should rethink the way they react to things like this. Mm-hmm. So we'll do that on the other side.
How about whether they're going to react to things like this?
Oh, everybody should react. That ship has sailed. Back in a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Top of the hour.
Ballelo's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Ballelo's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what, you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
And it is hour 2 of Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Talking about some events in the news. We will be visiting with Jordan Piazza, who is running for president of East Baton Rouge Parish and the city
mayor.
of Baton Rouge. See Denise Marcel, who is also a candidate. She's a state representative. Must have gotten hung up somewhere. She did not make it.
We had her scheduled an hour one.
We will try to find out.
And we'll offer her a make good, a do-over.
I've been thinking about who we are and what we are in America. And I am reminded of Vito Corleone and Johnny Fontaine when he's saying, "What can I do, Godfather?" He said, "You can act like a man." Now, I will tell you this in all seriousness. Unless you want your business and you want this entire nation to suffer constantly over foolishness that many times obscures the real issue, then just keep doing what you're doing. But you know what? If you're Dan Snyder, he is the owner of the Washington Redskins. Mm-hmm. He made legitimately in his businesses enough money to have a personal net worth of $2.6 billion. And he bought the franchise from another very successful businessman, Jack Kent. Mm-hmm. Or actually his heirs, because Jack Kent passed away. But here's the deal. If you're Dan Snyder, and you can put anybody's name in here, and some limp, dingus, mealy-mouthed person comes and says, "You need to change the name of your franchise," Mr. Snyder, act like a man who has earned his money. Act like a man who has spent his money. And look at them and say, "You want to change the name? Make me an offer, and it better be a big one." Oh, you can't? You don't have the money?
Well, then shut up.
Then put up or shut up. But I am tired of these people. ExxonMobil here in Baton Rouge is the largest taxpayer in this parish. And they have other operations around the state of Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they are large taxpayers too. They were going to build, what was it, a $9 million additional unit, mm-hmm. and they applied for a tax credit program being offered by the Department of Economic Development, which they were entitled to do. And this group of people that doesn't have two nickels to rub together went and confronted them and protested and held demonstrations saying they shouldn't get that tax abatement. And Exxon should have said, in my opinion, what have you ever built? How many people have you employed? How many jobs have you created? How much tax revenue do you put into this parish?
Yeah, that's the good question.
And that's simply dealing in facts. That's not being mean. American business people need to deal in facts and stop being pushed around by these people who simply want to be angry, who simply want to see if they can push you around. You know what? If you like the name the Washington Redskins and you paid whatever it was, $1.6 billion for that franchise, tell anybody who wants to change the name to come up with 1.7 and they can do whatever they want.
Yep. But, and I'm going to give Snyder some credit. He held the line and was like that for how many years? This has been going on for 10 years, trying to change the name of the Washington Redskins.
Well, he hasn't owned it for 10 years.
Because it's insensitive to Native Americans who, by the way, aren't complaining about it. The people that are complaining about it are not Native Americans. The people that are complaining about it are a bunch of left-wing idiots that just want to see how much crap they can change.
You know what? When you roll a couple $100 million a year into an economy that is largely poor and disadvantaged people, and you employ people from that economy, you don't have to be sensitive.
Not in my opinion. And I'm disappointed that Snyder has knuckled under, but he may have at some point just come to some sort of an epiphany and said, you know, what's in a name?
But you know, it's not just him. It's everybody. And you know what this...
Everybody's knuckling under to the pressure from a very, very vocal minority of people.
This does not end your problem. It merely starts more problems because they know you're a soft target. That's what I'm talking about. How many people do you know get absolutely crummy service at a grocery store and don't complain to the manager?
A lot, come to think of it.
You know why? Because they're afraid to. And you know what happens?
Well, I don't want to be a problem.
The crummy service continues.
Gets worse.
Yes.
And this is the problem when you appease an interest group, especially an interest group that does not represent the majority of the people. You start appeasing people, and it's never going to stop. It will never stop.
You know,
never.
It's like, this is a business. It is my business. You don't have your money in this business. You don't have a say. Now, you may not like that, but that is the honest-to-God truth. Live with it. But nobody wants to do that anymore. Well, the closest I've ever seen was when Rex Tillerson was the president and CEO of ExxonMobil. And when the Congress under the United States called they called in Phillips Conoco and Chevron and Royal Dutch Shell and BP and ExxonMobil, and they're all sitting there, and they're saying, why aren't you developing renewable sources of energy? And everybody...
Because we're the oil business.
Rex Tillerson looked at him and said, that's not the business we're in, Congressman. Period. Next question. Now, all the other oil executives, they were shuffling in their seats like they had ants in their pants.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at other oil companies. I mean, like ConocoPhillips, like, they're all like, we have been exploring alternative renewable energy. It's like, but you're an oil company. Oil's what you do.
Yeah, this is how we employ people and pay those huge taxes.
It is time for another break, so let's take care of that. Get some bills paid, and we'll be back with more. Exiles TV continues. Well, that was interesting.
I've heard that the computer is locked up.
Okay.
Who got the key?
If you didn't necessarily want to see some ads, we'll bully for you.
Hey, we want you to see those ads.
Exactly.
This is not free.
Those ads are how we get paid.
This isn't PBS.
No, it's a little technical snafu in master control, and they're getting it worked out.
Tropical Depression 8, by the way. This is new. Will strengthen to be a named tropical storm apparently within the next 12 hours.
Yay.
They have actually put up a cone. A cone of, I like the way they call it, the cone of uncertainty.
The cone of we don't have a clue.
The cone of cover your head because it's coming near you probably. But it looks like it is going to come ashore right above Corpus Christi, and it will be Saturday at about 7 a.m.
Which basically for we here along the I-10 corridor in southeast Louisiana are going to be in for several crappy rainy days.
But you know what? They don't show it getting larger, even though it's over the warmest part of the Gulf right now. We may not get much of a rain field at all. So
that would be all right with me.
Yeah, this one.
Let's save it all up for Gonzalo, who's still out there in the Caribbean.
Gonzalo, this will become Hannah, by the way.
Yeah.
This will become Hannah.
Hannah the storm.
And the flood advisory does not include anything north of the coastal parishes.
Well, good.
Nor west of Terrebonne Parish.
Good. Because you know how people are here after the 2016 flood. People are like, if it rains for more than 45 minutes without stopping, we start having, PTSD.
Well, and in
wondering
fact,
if we're going to have to gut our houses again.
With not figuring Gonzalo into this, Baton Rouge is only anticipated to get 2 inches of rain in the next 7 days.
Fine.
That'd be fine with me.
Fine. I'm happy with that.
Now,
I am worried about the storm track of Gonzalo because it's taking it clearly into the...
it's going into the slot, Kevin.
It's going right into the slot that usually takes it right down our throats.
Yeah.
I do worry.
This is like being at a bowling alley and watching your ball go right over that 3 mark.
Yep.
You know what happens next. It's strike time.
And I was so hoping that this year of all years, with everything else, that maybe the Louisiana could get through it without having a hurricane hit. But it's looking increasingly like Gonzalo will become a hurricane.
Well, even though we don't realize it because so much of this year has been stolen from us, we are getting into our worst 8 weeks.
The peak of the hurricane season comes
for us.
in August.
August and early September. I can't tell you how many. Karen and I were married on September 5th. And I can't tell you how many times we try to go somewhere, usually somewhere that's beachy.
For an anniversary trip?
For an anniversary. And I can't tell you how many times it's like, no.
And up until recently, it was also that if there's a hurricane in the Gulf, you and I, being radio personalities, up until recently, it was like your job is to be at the studio behind a microphone and not think about how many hours you were spending at work.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
That's right.
Just do it.
Occasionally we'll bring up a pizza.
Yeah. I've had more hurricane pizza than I care to remember. But then again, it's during a hurricane. You're like, thank God there was somebody making pizza.
You've been there either on the air or, oh, look, Marty's driving a toy car. He's doing this. Oh, does that mean break? You've been on the air for like 7 or 8 hours. You're hungry. You're going to eat that hurricane pizza.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that break right now. Okay.
You want to?
Yeah, because we have Jordan Piazza who is running
for
for
a coin or something.
No, let's do it.
Are you sure it's going to work this time, Marty?
Reasonably. Jordan Piazza is a local businessman in Baton Rouge who would like to be the next mayor-president of East Baton Rouge Parish. As I say many times, the most populous parish in our state. We're going to talk with him when Exiles TV returns.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
That's the rumor.
The handsome gentleman in the center is Jordan Piazza, a businessman here in Baton Rouge who is making his first run for political office, and he is running for mayor president. Jordan, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Bill? Thanks for having me.
You had your big kickoff, I guess, a week ago.
2 weeks, yes, sir.
2 weeks. It looks like you had a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, it was socially distant, but good. It was a good turnout.
How is it going? The field is getting a little more crowded. How's it going for you?
It is. The crowd's definitely getting filled, but it's going great. You know, we got a lot of work ahead, but we're excited. The momentum's been great. The response has been well.
Is this going to be? And I'm asking every candidate for this. Running against an incumbent and running in a crowded field, is this going to be a very expensive election for everybody that's running?
It's definitely going to be expensive, but I think what's going to help, it's going to make it less expensive that we got a later start to it because of COVID. So it's definitely going to be an expensive race. It's always difficult, challenging an incumbent, that's for sure. It's not an easy task to do. However, when you look at what our administration has done, specifically with COVID recovery and the lack thereof, rather, putting a plan together, it's obvious to see that a change has got to be happening. So I think it's going to get people to want to commit more and get more involved now because everyone's suffering.
Jordan, you're coming at this from a slightly different angle. A lot of people who get into local politics have they're lawyers, but you operate businesses. You're a businessman. Do you think a business person can bring a different kind of leadership to our state, or our parish, rather?
Yeah, I think we're seeing that nationwide, and obviously it led by businessman Donald Trump, who's now the president. And I believe that's what's necessary. I mean, when you've got an economy that they're not addressing, this big elephant in the room that they want to keep talking about everything else, we have an economy that is not recovering. The head of the Federal Reserve said the other day that this is going to be worse than the recession, and we're not doing anything about it. There's no action plan to this date. 4 months into it, there's still no plan from our current administration on how we're going to respond. And businesses are closing, and there's no one better that can relate to that than myself because my business has closed. And so, I think what's different is this, the mayor hadn't had any days off in terms of having to close her business. She's still working and operating, and so are the council members and such. And so they're not missing a beat. And so life is normal for them. But for people like myself, the common folk, life's not the same right now, and it's a struggle. And we've got to address the elephant in the room and stop acting like it doesn't exist and hope it's going to go away, because it's evident it's not going away anytime soon.
Well, life is normal, but there is a big chunk of life that's missing, and that's all those sales tax collections that haven't been happening now for going on 4.5 months.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because I was, before I came in, I was reading an article in the Business Report where they said, her administration says that they don't foresee it being a big issue. And it's just preposterous that Mark Armstrong would say that, because that sales are down. We know that in April it was down 18% over last year. We know that's going to get worse in May and June, and in July is going to be horrible. Now that the business has been shuttered, and we don't know when they're reopening, unemployment's at all-time highs. So this notion that sales tax, we're going to be fine on federal aid and cutting back on hiring freeze. What they fail to tell people is that they weren't hiring people anyway. They had the budget to do it, they weren't doing it. So it's not like they've cut back. They're still spending all the money. We're taking in a lot less, and that's going to really start to show here soon.
We are a parish that is really got an interesting mix. We've got a city that you'd be the mayor of if elected, that would be a city with a comfortable majority African American population. But then we have the outlying area, the unincorporated areas of the parish, and the other communities in the parish, which have a majority white representation. How do you tackle that kind of diversity and still manage to represent everyone?
Well, I think at the end of the day, both sides of the community understand that the current administration is just not getting the job done for anyone, not helping one side more than the other, just not doing anything really. And so I think how we combat that is putting in and reinstilling faith in those and in both sides that, hey, we're going to get you back to work. We're going to form this new economy, because it's not going to look the same when we reopen. We're going to put an action plan together that puts people back to work, gets businesses back working, because I think it's often forgot that 90% of businesses in East Baton Rouge Parish are small businesses, and most of those employees have been affected by these businesses being cut back. And so, at the end of the day, everyone wants a better quality of life, and it's very evident in the administration from a report that Braff did that the quality of life in Baton Rouge is not great, and that's for the parish. And so, as mayor president, I'm going to instill that in the belief in all of these residents that, hey, we can make it a better community. We're going to make a better community together. So I don't see that being a big issue in terms of racial tensions. I believe that they understand that the job's not going to get done, and at the end of the day, they don't think they care who's elected. They just want to make sure someone's doing a great job, and that's not happening.
In our first hour, and I'm sure you were not watching it because you've been out doing your campaign, but we talked about the police department, and we talked about these billboards from the Baton Rouge Union of Police. And Dan Fagan in The Advocate wrote an editorial saying, you know what? They're pointing fingers at the top, and maybe we should take a look. So how do you stand on whether or not the cops should get a raise? How do you stand on evaluating BRPD as to how they are functioning today?
I definitely believe the police need a raise. That's long overdue. Something we've been talking about for 8 years now at least, and they make under $40,000 a year, and these people put their lives at risk every day. crime rates are continuing to increase, and the administration keeps saying, oh, they're down. Well, yeah, it's down from 2017 because 2017 was a record year of homicides. Thank God it's down. If it was up, we'd have some serious problems. So that's great, but it's still high. And it's rising this year. We've had over 70 homicides this far this year. So the police department, while they're doing an okay job, there's definitely got to be some discussion about how we're going to not defund the police and get behind these police and support them. They have to know we have their back. Because these are the folks that, it's not like we have a whole plethora of applications. People want to be police officers. That's not the case. They have to know now more than ever that we support them. Now, some maybe better training, some different development in the department. Totally agree that might be necessary. But as far as the notion that the blame can't be pointed, we got to remember Mayor Broom came in with everyone knew she was going to replace Chief Davity from the beginning, and that's unfortunate. It's not like we replaced him because he's doing a bad job. She replaced him just because she wanted her own person, and we can't say that effect has been great.
Isn't that a mayor-president's right, though, to have a police chief that you can work with?
Yeah, I agree you have to have one you can work with, but I don't believe she gave it a fair shot because before she was ever elected, it was understood she was going to replace him. And I think that was her motion in her community is how she was going to get some of the Democratic votes. Hey, we're going to get rid of him. And rather than saying, hey, let me work with this guy, see if, he served the community for so long. He was well respected. And everyone makes mistakes. The current chiefs made mistakes. We're all human. So the notion that you're going in, I will never say I'm going in and replacing the chief if I'm elected. That's not a symbol that we're going to work together as a parish. It's just like the notion that she's suing the residents in St. George. How is that saying let's work together? We're all one parish. You're my constituents. That's saying, hey, you're on your own. You can't do what you want to do.
Well, it also assures, I think it assures a fair number of, votes against her because,
Absolutely.
Hey, she's suing me. I'm not going to vote for her.
It's preposterous, man. And that's what's frustrating to me is I'm tired of seeing this. It's been 12 years now we've been talking about the St. George. 12 years. And unless the judge changes the rules, everyone asks what my stance is. This is the mayor's fight because she personally sued him. The people voted. I understand why the people in the parish want the whole parish to vote, but until the laws change, we have to take the hand that's dealt. And rather than suing them, all we're doing is creating a greater division. And that's what's evident. And that's, it's very reflective. The reason they want to get away is they're basically saying, hey, we don't want to work with your administration. It's that simple because we think your administration is inefficient in the way y'all operate. And all they had to do was work and lobby on how they're going to get them a school district, and that could have prevented it 12 years ago, but they haven't done that.
Well, and the other concern is the loss of sales tax revenue
Correct.
to the city itself as opposed to the parish revenue. But isn't the answer to offsetting that revenue economic development?
Absolutely. And that's, I laugh. Her last report in February, she came out with economic development. It was about a car wash opening on the corner of Foster or in Florida or something.
That's a new business. That's not economic
Correct.
development.
And recently she's talking about this new hospital that opened. Yes, it's because of COVID.
Yes.
It's not a good reason that it needed to open.
Reason.
But yes, but it only happened because of COVID and Trump and the federal assistance and the government state assistance. But she didn't develop that, and she's trying to take credit for things that she's not doing. There's no economic development here, and people have to know that they can come to Baton Rouge, they can do business, they can their kids can get a good education, they can be safe, protected, and they can have a good living in the community. Right now, we don't provide that for them. They know that they don't feel that way. That's why 90% of parents don't want their kids to grow up in Baton Rouge. It's an alarming. They just studied BRAFTA, and they said that when their kids are adults, they don't want them in Baton Rouge. That's alarming. And so, I think it's very reflective of the administration. And right now, she's fighting for a job. Obviously, she probably didn't expect this many challengers. So she's going to try and put out, like yesterday, she's saying, oh, everything's okay. We need police reform. Let's talk about the economy and that it's sinking. That the revenues, to your point, if St. George were to happen and the economic impact that would have, well, let's talk about, on top of that, the fact that sales are down parish-wide. That's an even bigger problem because the bucket we do have is going to be lessened. And to act like we're doing great or efficient is incompetent because it's $1 billion budget with the population decreasing. People are fleeing out of here and we can't get the sales going. So we've got to be more efficient and we got to be smarter with how we spend money. I do believe there is a way to go through that budget, which my team's been doing for months now, and figure out inefficiencies, look at all the contracts, the service contracts, and where the inefficiencies are, how we can save money and get this economy thriving. We've got to get people back to work and we got to get businesses back open. We cannot let people stay closed. It's going to kill us long term because small businesses don't have the capital to withstand such a long closure.
What, in your view, as a candidate, what is the biggest problem we have to new economic development? Is it the educational system, which the mayor has no control over? Is it crime, which some people are saying the mayor should take more control over that? What is the biggest impediment?
Blight.
Yeah, well, I think it's all those things, obviously, and I think, to answer your question real quick, the mayor doesn't have control over education. Understood. However, the mayor president should be working with the school board leaders, with the superintendent of education, and be lobbying for the best in the parish. The fact that City of Central and Zachary inside the parish can have two of the top 10 school districts in the parish, but we have the bottom 10 is out insane. And I hope this new Department of Education leaders, school board, will do a great job. But the mayor's got to work with these people, and it's evident that her administration doesn't. So I think that's a big issue, because it's hard to recruit people to come to Baton Rouge or keep the ones here, because they have to pay such a high fee to get them in private schools. But let's not forget, enrollment K through 12 is down 34% in private and public schools in East Baton Rouge Parish, not Central and Zachary, but it's increasing in Central and Zachary, which shows people are trying to get out of here. So I think that crime's an issue. I mean, would you want to come somewhere where crime's increasing 40%? I wouldn't want, if I'm out of town, hey, let's move my family somewhere where it's not safe. I commend the police union, and I think the police union putting those billboards up speaks volume, because they are the voice of the police themselves. So they're saying, hey, we need help. We need assistance. This is not getting done. And that comes with the current administration, or whoever the mayor president is, that matter, backing the police department, getting more involved, having a more vocal role, getting them the resources they needed. Like they did that survey where they found $8 to $12 million in savings. And then she goes on to say, oh, well, it's not really 12. It may be more 6. The fact that there's any savings there and that it's taken 3 years to figure that out is crazy, because it's not hard to look at it. But it only became relevant because an election's coming up. And the reality is, back when we talked about every time there's an issue discussion, we never get the follow-up on how things come. So now that it's been 3, 4, 6 months have passed, what are we going to do now that sales tax are down? And we don't have as much revenue.
But Jordan, let's project forward. You're elected. You're in office. You're trying to entice a major industry to open up a warehouse. Or something like you're trying to bring in a major industry.
We should not have lost Amazon.
Are you going to go to the police union and say, hey, how about getting these damn billboards down?
Well, I think when they have belief in somebody, yes, they'll be willing to take them down. I think that's what they're trying to say, and I think it's a great time. They're trying to tell the parish, hey, y'all might not know this, but don't believe what you're hearing her say on the news, because it's not true. Homicides are up. Crime rates are up. 1 in 4 people in 2018 were victims of crime in East Baton Rouge Parish. That is alarming. So to answer your question, yes, once they get in office, they'll know that I'm behind the police, I'm supporting them. We're going to do the best we can to have the best professionals, get the resources they need to have a better department, and then that's going to come down naturally. Right now, they know that she does not have their back, and that's why the police union is screaming, we need help.
I want to hit something that you mentioned briefly. Amazon, you're right. We almost had Amazon at Cortana.
It's preposterous.
What happened there?
I can't tell you specifics because I don't know, but she should have hand-walked that deal. There's no way you have a company like Amazon that's willing to invest the money they have, they can bring the resources, and you don't make sure it gets done. You got to get with the governor, you got to get with whoever, the legislator, whoever you got to get, you make sure that deal gets done. You go meet with, they say it's because Dillard's didn't want to give up the property or something along those lines. You go meet with Dillard's and you let them know that this has to happen. Facilitate hey, I understand you want it, there's vacant property across the street. Let's build you your small little Dillard's right across the street. Let Amazon get this. This is better for Baton Rouge. There's a way, but they're not trying. That's the whole issue, is that they don't want to try. And we talk about creating economy, and Amazon's thriving right now. Yep. Imagine if they were open here, how many jobs this would be creating right now for the other part. At least. And it's preposterous that we're letting that happen. And meanwhile, you talk about beautification, Cortana doesn't look good. You drive around the whole parish, and so when you talk about when people come in, when you drive from the airport to anywhere in Baton Rouge, it's not a beautiful look. But we have $2 million a year to spend on it. At some point, we got to hold these people accountable. I'm tired of seeing the decay in the city when we have such great resources and we have the funding. It's just not being properly used. That's the issue.
We are talking with Jordan Piazza. He is a candidate for mayor president of the city of Baton Rouge and the parish of East Baton Rouge. We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back with more with Mr. Piazza on Exiles TV. Stick around.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology, which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back. It is Exiles TV. Bill Profito over there, Kevin over here. Jordan Piazza is in the center chair. Jordan is a local businessman in the Baton Rouge area and has decided to run for mayor president of East Baton Rouge Parish. We're one of there are only 2 parishes with the city parish government model, and we are one of them. And
the
now,
Home Rule Charter.
Yep. And under ever since I think the days of Hurricane Katrina, we have become the most populous parish in the state, since so much of the, I'm going to use a big word, the diaspora from New Orleans and Orleans and Jefferson Parish from Hurricane Katrina decided to stay up here. So that leaves us in an unenviable position, but it also has created some financial problems for us with that rapid growth. So in my personal opinion, economy is job one for running the city parish.
Absolutely.
But other people and other candidates we've spoken to don't seem to think the economy is job one. They'd rather tackle social issues. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I believe economy is definitely the big issue. I mean, thankfully, when you look in Baton Rouge during everything that's going on, the social issues haven't been much of an issue, thankfully. It's been well controlled. In the past, we've had some issues, but I think we've done a good job as a community to embrace the issues and do a better job of coming together. We're a very unique culture here in Louisiana, and so it's very evident we try and find, come together when we can, and I think that's been evident. I don't think social is going to be the big issue. Economy is 100%. And I think that's what's unique about coming from the private sector, is that you realize how important operating like a business is. That's all the government is taking in dollars and spending dollars, and you got to be more efficient. And the city of Central has a surplus of $1 million a year in their government, and they don't take any income from property taxes. And so, point being, obviously a lot smaller city, there's an efficient way to do it. We're just not doing that. So we got to get the economy booming so that we can increase that and have a better surplus.
Well, let me ask you this, because we don't often get a chance to ask a lot of political candidates this question. You are a businessman. You are not a career politician. You're not moving from one office to another. And it is an executive office. It is not legislative. It's not representative.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your management style? How do you manage if you're sitting in that chair on the third floor?
I think it's very comprehensive, obviously, but I think you gotta surround yourself by better people. You want people around you to want to grow, and you have to give them the ability to grow, because it only makes you look better if you have the best people involved to help shine and really make your office look good. So, my belief of managing is hiring the best people possible and then letting them do what they're great at. And understand they're going to make mistakes, they're going to make flaws, but they're human, and give them a chance and have belief in them and always support them. And publicly, you're on the same page. Behind the scene, you have difficult conversations. That's how you have to operate, but you have to look unified at all times. And the same goes with managing the relationship with the council. The mayor-president needs to have a good relationship with the entire council so they can work together, because the council represents their own district. Obviously, the mayor's representing the whole parish, but they need to understand that they can work in unison. And right now, that doesn't exist. And so, management style for me is letting everyone put their aces in places, is what I call it. Finding the best of the best and letting them do what they're best at, and trust that it might not be what you think is best, but that's why they're the expert in that field. And I think the current mayor, her first hire was a great example of that. She did not go find the best of the best, and it embarrassed a top 100 metro city for that, and people are still talking about it every day. Someone brought it up yesterday, so it's not like everyone's going to forget about that issue. And I think that right off the bat shows the lack of leadership, or the lack of executive, if you will, if you're not willing to go the extra mile to do a background check on the person you hired to see if their documents have been falsified. I mean,
it was a scary moment when I thought about it. Now, granted, he resigned when it was found out that he wasn't everything he represented himself to be. But if you break that right down, and I'm not trying to attack the current mayor-president, but we had, at least for a short time, a complete con man with his hands on $1 billion budget. Correct. Which was terrifying.
Yeah, and not to mention you have someone that was already in the office like William Daniel, who had been in the 7 years over there under Kip, and is a great man, and they did a great job, and she should have used him as a resource to help find someone, or at least meet with them, see if they're qualified, because who better than him to know how the city operated for the last 7 years?
Well, I think one of the problems with the Troy Bell incident is that it became known as a flagrant example of racial politics. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate racial politics, no matter whether they're Republican, Democrat, and they certainly don't like it to be that blatant, because the mayor said she was going to do a nationwide search. She didn't. She did a search of an organization that only represented African American administrators, and got caught. And not only discredited her search, but discredited her candidate, and largely discredited the organization she used for the search.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of been her MO from the very beginning in every leadership role, is that it was racially driven, unfortunately. And look where it ended up, obviously. And I'm not saying there's great people on both sides, but it shouldn't be about the color of skin when you're doing a search like that. And the fact that an executive, I mean, think about it, with the whole Papa John's incident, right? And he John Schneider got in all that issues for what he said, right? Imagine if that happened in the executive leadership, where a white man said, hey, I only want a white person. I mean, it'd be crazy. Point being is I don't see color, white or black. I was raised by my family to see all. I mean, that's why I have a lot of friends in the African American community. Point being, there's great leaders on both sides, and you can't just, it's like going through a filter. Click, hey, the skin color has to be African American or black, or we're not going to hire him. And I think that's a slippery slope. But she got away with it for a little while until she got caught. And then look who she hired, Derek Gissel, who was running against her last time, in my opinion, to keep him from being on the ballot. And I wouldn't be surprised if she were to win the re-election, which we're not going to let happen, but if she would get rid of Gissel right after and make the gentleman that she brought over from the plant the actual CAO.
See, that would be a shame, because I have a great deal of respect for Darrell Gissel. I think he's a brilliant man and good at his job.
He is, I agree. But my point being is, I think she got caught, and then she went to say, hey, what's a safe route? And she couldn't pull the race card at that time. And so, I think for an executive to have that mindset just shows that, hey, she is not in the right mindset if she's going to be profiling people the way she's profiling, because she's not looking for the best, she's looking what looks the best.
Jordan, I'm sorry, Bill. I'm going to hit you with the big race question, though. I mean, you're a white man. You're a Republican. Am I right about that?
Correct.
You're going to need, in order to win this election, a lot of people to break their normal voting patterns. And I'm not just talking about let's just, I don't want to insult anybody, but there is a tendency, black people will tend to vote for a black candidate if they have one to vote for. Also, Democrats will tend to vote for a Democrat if they have one to vote for. You're going to need a large number of people to break their traditional voting habits. How are you going to make that happen?
Well, I believe that, my experience and who I am as a person and working with people over the years, I've worked with many people of all races. I grew up in a community where, as I said earlier, I didn't see color. I mean, most of my friends in high school were actually African American. So I think, my father and my mother set up a unique position. My father being involved as an equipment manager in sports, where he had a connection with the African American community. He always supported him. I always supported him. I was a big KIPP supporter for years. And point being is, I think I have a unique in with the community to actually pull some that wouldn't normally typically go with a white male Republican. However, they're reaching out to me already and saying, listen, we cannot support the current mayor. People that are friends of the mayor. We cannot support her. We need to back you. You're what we need. We need a younger generation. We need some new blood. And they don't see me as a white male in that regard. They see me as just a young professional. And I believe I think it's what resonates, because I've worked with so many of them, and I never treat anyone differently because of skin or color. So I think we'll be able to get in the community and actually pull some votes and actually surprise a lot of people. I'm very optimistic about that.
Jordan, we got a couple minutes before the break, and I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time we talk, but real quickly, traffic and drainage, two big issues, and so far I don't think I've heard any of your opponents mention them.
Well, yeah, I mean, they haven't yet, which is they're obviously Matt and Tara on the council, and the current mayor is the mayor, so they're not going to admit that they failed that, because we had a 2016 flood and we still haven't addressed the flooding issue and drainage issue. But it's definitely a priority, and the funds have to be allocated to fix this issue. The fact that we had a flood like we did in 2016 and we haven't fixed the problem is alarming. It just goes to show that they're not working together, and they're not putting the priorities right. And so that's got to be fixed immediately. And so I think that's something that's easy to get done. But again, that goes back to on the business side of seeing the inefficiencies in the city parish government and that not having the resources they need. So I believe that's got to be a very big priority.
City parish government top heavy, in your opinion?
Very top heavy, yes, and I believe that's got to be restructured for sure. It's definitely top heavy, and it's got to be reworked.
Real quickly, because we do have a break coming, we have got a very good champion for improved traffic in Garrett Graves. How's your relationship with Congressman Graves?
It's great. He's a great gentleman. I sat down with him a couple of months ago, and we talked. We had some great conversations, and he provided a lot of good insight. The thing about traffic is that right now we're doing all these improvements to the road, but smooth roads only gets you to the traffic jam quicker. And that's all that's going to happen. And once these roads are complete, we're going to see that. And everyone gets there quicker, and then we're going to realize we haven't addressed the problem. We've got to fix the problem. We've got to build a new bridge, and it's going to take a private-public partnership to get that done. But we've got to change we're not reinventing the wheel here. These problems exist nationwide. We just got to find the best way to get it done and get it done quickly, because these people are tired of it.
His name is Jordan Piazza. He will be on your ballot November 3rd, running for mayor-president. And we are going to endeavor to try to talk to every candidate. And we may, November's a long way away, get around to everybody once again. But Jordan, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks
for
having me.
Good luck to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
More to come on Exiles TV.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Willkommen, bienvenue.
Come on in. Welcome back to Exiles TV. That was an interesting conversation with Jordan Piazza.
Yes.
I apologize for our first hour guest, C. Denise Marcel, state representative from Baton Rouge, who is running also for mayor president of Baton Rouge. I have no idea what happened. We had her booked for the 10 o'clock hour, but we'll reach out and attempt to get her back as well. We want everybody who's running for this particular office on
by the way, if there are parish presidents races in the River Parish or in St. Tammany Parish or in Lafayette Parish or in Terrebonne Parish, we are seen there as well. So tell your friends and your candidates and your political consultants that if there is a contested race for mayor, for example, in Lafayette, we would love to have you on the program.
Now, look, if you're running for dog catcher, call us and we'll talk about the podcast. Okay?
I thought I'd implied that.
But when you're talking about parish president, you're talking about key important roles.
Who was it?
You bet we want to be on top of that.
You weren't around for this, but somebody actually came to the studios and were waiting in the hallway, looking like they were waiting to go to confession. And so I went out there and I'm helping a guy in an election.
Wow.
And I said, what's his name? And they said, Pee Wee, and they gave me the last name, and I said,
are you joking me? Is a guy running for office named Pee Wee?
I said, what's he running for?
I'm not sure.
Ward 1, District 4, on the police jury in Assumption Parish. And it was like, our signal doesn't even get all of Assumption Parish.
Our signal doesn't
I'm trying to be nice.
The signal of that radio station barely got to Assumption Parish at all.
Trying to be nice. Oh, well, we can hear you just fine in Ward 1, District 4. And I was like, finally I said, look, I'm sorry. And it was true. This was in the big...
Well, was this guy booked, or did he just come up hoping to get on the... He just came up hoping to get on the air, just showed up...
Hoping to get his friend booked. He wanted to get his friend booked. He was helping with his election.
That's a regular.
It was quite... He looked like when we got done, he might have gone and sat out in his pickup truck and eaten an apple off the blade of a knife, if you know what I mean. But,
sling blade.
But we digress.
I just got a mental picture.
Yeah, see? You weren't there. You missed all the good stuff.
Yeah, I did.
But it's like, I can't, if I let you on, I have to let every other, police juror candidate in Assumption Parish on, and the signal doesn't go over half. And then I said, I'm sorry, I can't. And he said, well, okay then. And I said, now, if you have a press release announcing his candidacy, we'll be happy to read that. And he said, I'll get one made up and I'll get back to you. And I said,
well, the truth of the matter is, though, when you get down in some of these parishes and these local races, sometimes you are dealing with people who are running for public office, have no idea how to go about doing that, and they're just feeling their way.
Yeah, but
God bless them.
We never had Pee Wee on the radio show.
But I admire anybody who wants to volunteer to run for public office and step up and serve. Some people see it as a cash cow. I think those people generally are hoping to engage in corruption, public corruption, which is that's a growth industry in Louisiana, public corruption.
I admire anybody in any of these parishes that lay on the river that grows to adulthood and lets people call him Pee-wee.
Pee-wee.
You got to be pretty tough.
Pee-wee.
To be called Pee-wee.
I look forward to a day where we have no one serving in public office in the legislature or local office, governorship, no one with a name in quotes.
Oh, but we used to have so many. We had Poogie Moiti. We had E.L. Bubba Henry.
In my opinion, though, what's worse than name in
we
quotes?
had Raymond Lalonde.
Yeah, BB60 Rayburn. What's worse? Speedy Long. Remember him?
Speedy Long.
He was anything but. God bless him. What's worse than a name in quotes is just a name that's not your name. Now, we've had a governor. His name was not Bobby.
No, it was Payush.
It was never legally changed to Bobby. Yeah. He was just call me Bobby, and he got by with that. New York City has a mayor who goes by a name, it's a very ethnic name. You wonder how he arrived at it, because his name was something like Werner Wilhelm Jr.
Yeah, but his mother's maiden name was de Blasio.
Oh, so he took his mother's maiden name.
Well, he hyphenated it for a while. He had Wilhelm de Blasio, and then he got rid of the Wilhelm. But that guy is a weird cupcake, okay?
Well, to me, it's like if you're running for public office and you're using a name that's not your name, we got an instant trust problem going right there. It's like, why are you using a fake name? Your name's not Bill or de Blasio, and you're running your city into the ground.
Yeah,
but that's another story.
I would, I was kind of offended by Jimmy Carter. What's wrong with being James Carter on the ballot? Why do you have to be Jimmy?
Oh, shucks. Call me Jimmy.
I mean, everybody's got a dumb cousin that rides a short bus named Jimmy, don't they?
That's right. That's going to wrap things up.
We'll be back, yes.
Yep. So we hope you'll join us Tuesday morning for the Exiles. And until then, take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
God bless.